got to fix it. You broke it, you fix it.
Welcome back, fellow aviators. My name is Matt Farrell. I'm joined here today by Rachel. She is a graduating senior this year, and as I've told you before, one of the things that I love to do is to give back to the aviation community. Rachel thinks that she has an interest in aviation. So today we're going to jump in the airplane. We're going to treat Rachel to her first $100 hamburger. So we're going to go on a flight and get us a little bit of lunch, and then we're going to take her to meet some really neat people at a really neat place in Mississippi, Delta State University. We're going to introduce her to Rebecca Parker, who's one of the heads of the aviation department over there, and give her the full exposure into aviation. So Rachel, you ready to fire up and go?
Yes!
Let's do it!
All right, fellow aviators, welcome back to the cockpit. We got Rachel on the controls. She's doing a fantastic job. It's her first time flying the airplane. I did get us out of the airspace in Austin because it was just too hectic in there, so I didn't want to subject her to that. But we're level at 7,500 feet. So Rachel, tell me about your first impressions of flying the 210. What do you think?
I think it's so cool! This is so cool!
What's been the most impressive thing so far from the takeoff to where we are now? What's blown your mind?
I think the part that blew my mind was just like when we finally took off in the air, you can feel like the ground isn't beneath you anymore. And then when we're getting up all the turbulence and everything, because we're closer to the ground, you feel the wind more.
Right.
It felt a little bit like we're flying. Okay, fall a little bit, fly. It was like, whoo, a little bit. How funny.
Outstanding, outstanding. Tell the viewers you're graduating from high school and you're thinking about pursuing a career in aviation. You've got a summer program coming up, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I'm going to go to North Carolina for 8 weeks this summer. It's paid for by the Navy, and I'm going to hopefully get my private pilot's license at the end of it, and just get 50 hours of flying.
Outstanding.
Very excited.
And so this is, you've never had what we call a discovery flight or anything like this, so this is your first time in a small airplane, is that right?
That's true.
This way we know that you at least enjoy it before you get to North Carolina and you get up there and say, nope, I'm out. But that smile on your face tells me that I think you're all in at this point.
Yes, I love this.
I really appreciate you wearing the aviator sunglasses too. I think that's a nice touch for the cockpit. So you certainly look the part. So you're off to a great start.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking me out here. This is so awesome.
You bet. Well, you and I had some conversations prior to going flying, and I really do feel like that I'm truly blessed and I have the best job in the world. And the best thing that I can do is give back to the aviation community. We need more pilots, we need more mechanics, we need more aviation professionals, and if we can expose more people to aviation, they'll realize how great it is and how much fun it is to fly and be able to go places and do this. So I'm really happy to share that with you, and I'm really excited that you're enjoying what we're doing so far, and I hope you enjoy the whole trip. So for the viewers out there, we're on our way to Lufkin, Texas. We're going to stop and grab a $100 cheeseburger. Everybody in the business knows that you go out and you practice flying, you practice some takeoffs and landings, and then you fly to a destination, and all that fuel that you spent comes up to about $100. So that's why we call it the $100 cheeseburger, is because that's how much it really costs to go get one. We're going to get our cheeseburger, a $100 cheeseburger, and then we're going to wind up at Delta State University. I've got a really neat friend over there, Rebecca Parker. She's an aviation professional. She's been doing this quite a while, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about what it takes to become a professional aviator in today's environment. I've had my license for almost 30 years now, so you and I were talking, and you had a lot of questions about the certifications and the training and that sort of thing, and I'm a little bit behind the times, so we're both going to be able to learn a little bit about how and what it takes to go from 0 hours to a flying job or an aviation job of your choice in the field. So Rebecca's going to be a great resource about that. She's going to be whispering in your ear the entire time about Delta State, because she's a big proponent. She's a graduate of Delta State, and she has gone on and had a flying career, and she's come back home, and she's now a professor there. So really excited for you to meet her. And I think you're going to really enjoy meeting her. I think she's a neat person. We're going to get back to work here. We're going to do some more flying. We're going to let the cameras roll and let Rachel do some flying, and you're going to get to come along and see her experience. All right, you got that purple line centered up. We're at 7540, which is really good. The commercial standards, so to get your private pilot certificate, you have to maintain altitude plus or minus 100 feet. So 74 to 76. To get your commercial certificate, it's plus or minus 50 feet. So
You're within that. You're about to bust right now. You're at 50 feet, so you got to go down.
Okay. Not yet.
So, no, you're doing really fantastic. You have a great feel for the airplane, and you're doing a great job.
Centurion 48 November, contact Houston Center 134.8. Good day.
134.8 for 48 November. Good day.
Houston Center 6048 November, level 7,500 BFR.
November 6048 November, Houston Center, Lufkin altimeter 3030.
303048 November.
So he's telling us
317 has
that our altimeter is 3030 and it's over an hour old, hasn't been updated in an hour. So that's the airport we're going to. It's called Angelina County. That 296 is the airport elevation above sea level. So we're 7,500 feet. So when we land, this altimeter will be reading 296 or right around 300. The reason why I looked at that is because I want to know when we need to descend to get to Lufkin, because we don't want to be at 7,500 feet right on top of it, right?
Right, that's true.
We want to come in gradual. I'd round that 296 to 300. Minus 75 is 72. We're going to go down at 500 feet per minute. So that means it's going to be about 14 minutes away from the airport. We need to start down. And so we're 21 minutes out now. So 7 minutes from now, we've got to start working with the airplane and configuring it to get to where the altitude we want to be. Now we're going to check the weather, see how that has that little RX on it. That means we're receiving the radio signal that tells us what the weather is. So if I turn that on, we should be able to hear it.
Celsius. Dew point 06 Celsius.
I wasn't sure. I thought it may have.
For Mars, density altitude 4.
And it plays in a loop, so that's the end.
Lufkin, Angelina County
It's the right airport.
Automated weather observation 1700 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 18 Celsius. Dew point 06 Celsius. Altimeter 3028. Remarks. Density altitude 400. 500 climbing 16,000.
They have two runways, 16 and 34 and 7 and 25. So as we get closer, now we're listening to two frequencies at once, and we're going to be listening. We're going to be listening for someone saying Lufkin or Angelina County and see which runway they're going to be using. And we'll make that decision once we get closer. I pulled just a little bit of power back. We're still 16 minutes out, and I'll pull a little bit more out, and then we're going to do our initial descent, and we'll be going down about 300-400 feet per minute. And then when we get down around, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 feet, depending on the bumps, you see the clouds out there, how they're below us? When we get down to where those clouds are, that's when the bumps are going to come back. Because there's enough lift in the air to get those clouds to that point, and then they hover right there, and now we're above that. But I promise you, when we get below those clouds, you'll get those little bumps back, and we'll have to slow down some more. And we're at that 14-minute mark, so we can go ahead and descend, actually. All right, fellow aviators, we made it to Lufkin. We enjoyed a great lunch inside here at the diner. It's always a fantastic place to stop. If you get an opportunity to come through Lufkin, Texas, they have a great lunch. So don't ever hesitate to take advantage of that. Rachel, what'd you think of your first flight over?
It was so much fun. I had a great time.
Yeah?
It was great.
You did fantastic. You had great command of the airplane. You didn't overcorrect. You did a fantastic job of handling it. The one thing that I would encourage you to do on this next flight is try to get that presentation outside the cockpit exactly the way we want it, and then you'll be able to maintain your pitch attitude and your roll attitude exactly the way you want it. But overall, for your first time in a general aviation airplane, you did fantastic. So, are you ready to do it again?
Yes.
Let's go do it. Y'all come along.
Well, in about 2 minutes, we're going to start our descent, and I'm excited.
Outstanding. That's exactly right. All right, so we're 2 minutes out, so I like to slow things down a little bit. So go ahead and grab the throttle, and you're going to pull it back just a teeny tiny bit until that manifold, that M.
This one?
Yep, that's the one. And you're going to pull it out just a little bit. I'll loosen this so it'll come out a little easier. Oh, too much. Look how much it dropped.
Oh.
Push it back in. Oh, don't. You got to fix it. You broke it. You fix it. And you let oh man, that one maneuver just fried your brain. So folks at home, you can't see it, but Rachel got so fixated on the throttle, she pulled it out from
28 inches of manifold pressure to about about 22 inches of manifold pressure. And then we started diving at about 500 feet per minute. So that's just an example of how we can take our attention away from the airplane, and it can get away from us inadvertently. So standard rookie mistake, something that we've all done when we were first learning to fly. All right, so grab that throttle again, and this time you're only going to move it about that far, if that far.
Okay, well, how much does that, like this?
So that's sitting right now on 27. So it needs to come just down to 25. So just teeny tiny amount. There you go. And a tip, I don't know if your hand's big enough. Sometimes it's easier to put your thumb there and kind of use that as a...
Oh, so you can evaluate how much you move.
Yeah, you can kind of feel it.
Okay.
All right, now if you recall, do you remember when we checked when we got our briefing on the ground on the phone, and I told you that the automated weather wasn't working, right? So one of the things that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to check a nearby airport
United 2328 clear direct hold
to see what their winds are. So the next closest airport's probably going to be, let's just use Greenville. And so if we look at Greenville's weather on the iPad, they say the winds are calm. Usually on a calm day, the runway they use is runway 18. But we're going to go ahead and tune in the frequency for Cleveland and see if anybody else is flying. And we're going to get in, just like we talked about at Lufkin, we're just going to get in the same pattern as everybody else. Unless they've messed it up and are doing something unsafe, that's what we'll do.
Okay.
But you can usually be rest assured that they're doing, if there's multiple people in the pattern, they're probably doing landing into the wind. You want to take off and land into the wind. All right, so we're coming up on that 15-minute mark. You've got a power pulled out. Probably going to need to get in some flaps because we're a little closer. So pull back on that, we're losing altitude. I need you to slow down.
Okay.
And one way you slow down is you can take your foot off the gas, right? Or you can go uphill. That'll slow it down, right? So to go uphill, we just pull the nose up. And we were letting that altitude slip a little bit, so all we're doing is training our airspeed for altitude. And now we're right down here at 140. That's going to work out perfect. So grab the flaps right here and ease them down real nice and slow till they stop that first notch. You're going to feel it now. Push forward. Kind of counteract that maneuver. Push forward, push forward, push forward. And then I'll give you some nose down trim. Now we can start that descent. You need to come a little bit to the left. You're right, of course, and your track is taking us right, of course. So we need to come just a little bit to the left. Take a little bit of that power out. All right, so we're below 140. Gears coming down. All right, got a wheel, got a green. You got a wheel? Always look for that wheel. Look for the wheel. That's more important than the green light. All right. That wheel's more important than the light. All right. Trimming you up here. There you go. So they're landing 3-6 at Cleveland. So we need to be doing at least 500 feet per minute down. You're doing good. Don't go to 1,000 though, because our ears will start popping pretty hard. Remember, try to fly the airplane so that you never feel control inputs or the change in power settings, pitch, roll, any of those things. If somebody's back there reading a book, you want them to not be disturbed. Them reading the book. Yep. Things like the landing gear and flaps, you can't avoid.
November 6048, November, report the Cleveland Airport in sight. It's currently at your 12 o'clock, 26 miles, and the Greenville altimeter is 3022.
All right, 3022, and we'll call the field shortly for 604 November.
And the airport is going to be north and west of the town, so that yellow is supposed to what it looks like if you're up above it in an airplane and it's at night. It should have that shape. That's why it's yellow like that. And so the airport is north and west of it, so it's going to be on this side. So I can see something out there that's kind of like the airport.
Destination AWAS is 124.175.
Thank you, Gladys.
And Memphis Center 604 November. We'll go ahead and cancel with you now.
Air 6048 November, roger. Radar service terminated. Spot VFR frequency change approved. No traffic in the vicinity of Cleveland at this time. Change to advisory for Cleveland.
All right, Squawk BFR, change to advisory approved for 4 November. Y'all have a great day.
Delta State 04, entering left downwind for 36, Cleveland.
So he's calling, that was Delta State 04, so that's him. Delta State has come out here to the west to do their maneuvers. See how they're maneuvering out here? Cleveland traffic, Centurion 604, November 17 to the southwest, inbound for 36 Cleveland. And we see the traffic in the southwest practice area. Be on the lookout for them.
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 11, turning left crosswind, runway 36, Cleveland traffic.
Cleveland traffic, Actra, Victor X-ray, departing 36, Cleveland.
Cleveland traffic, air traffic 804, Charlie Tango is about 5 to the southeast, inbound for landing 36, Cleveland. Cleveland traffic, Delta State 11, turning left downwind, runway 36, Cleveland traffic.
We got traffic out here we need to look for. 1,800 feet below. There he is down here. So there's that one. And then we've got another one straight ahead, 2,500 feet. All right, I got my other traffic down low. Cleveland traffic, Centurion 604, November is 10 to the southwest, inbound for 36, Cleveland. All right, you can slow that descent now. That's Delta State 12, Delta State 12, and we're probably going to hear them call shortly. Because that would make most sense what they're doing. I don't know if you can see that airplane out there. Can you?
Over there, yes.
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 11 is at 1600, climbing up to 3500. We are 3 miles to the north of the field, going to practice area 3, Cleveland traffic.
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 12, 4 mile 45 for left downwind for runway 36, Cleveland.
Cleveland traffic, Centurion 604, November. We have Delta State 12 in sight, and we're going to do the same maneuver for a 45 for left downwind 36. We're just going to bebop along like this.
Delta State 12 has that crosswind traffic in sight.
Delta turn left downwind 36, Cleveland.
All right, so we're looking for that traffic now. Can you see there? Can you see? That's Delta State 12 right off the leading edge of my wingtip.
Yes.
And there's going to be another one coming around because he's about to turn downwind.
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 14 is 15 to the south, inbound the RNAV 36, Cleveland.
And Cleveland traffic, Centurion 604, November is turning 4 mile on a 45 for a left downwind 36, Cleveland. That's a great thing about.
Delta turning left base for 36.
Oh, okay, that's the traffic I was looking for. So he's on a left base. So I'll draw it out for you when we get on the ground and tell you where he's. I was expecting him to be behind Delta State 12, but he's ahead of him. So we're in good shape. I forgot that Delta State had air tractors. That's crop dusters.
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 12, turn left base, runway 36, Cleveland.
And Cleveland traffic, Centurion 604, November is turning left downwind 36, Cleveland. Now we're a little bit faster than these Cessnas.
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 12, turning final runway 36, Cleveland.
So we'll turn a little bit outside of them. So can you see him out there on final? And then air tractor's big yellow airplane. They're kind of hard to miss. He's on the runway right down there.
Landing or keep our...
Yeah, we're going to just let the airplane's doing great. Just kind of hold this attitude. The airplane will almost fly itself in a lot of instances. Just keep us going this direction. Now, look behind me.
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 11.
You want to be 45 degree off the end of that runway. So right now we're right about there. Look at the runway. Look at the runway. See where it's at? Turn left.
36,
By the hangars.
And Cleveland traffic 604 November is turning left base for 36 Cleveland.
Cleveland traffic, Bonanza 60 Alpha Mike, taking off 36, departing to the northeast.
All right, so this is going to be bring it on around like you're doing. Wings level, wings level. See the runway?
Delta State 12, clear the active Cleveland.
Turn to the runway.
Delta turning left downwind for 36, Cleveland.
Cleveland traffic 4 November's turning final 36 Cleveland. Have traffic in sight. See that traffic on the runway departing? All right, I'm going to give you a notch of flaps, and you're going to feel it rise up, so you're going to have to push it forward a little bit. There you go, just like that. Perfect. Line up on that runway.
All right, you see those red, can you see the red lights in the grass? Can you see
Short
those
final
lights?
runway 36.
Thank you, Gladys. That's what we're looking for. Looking for a red and a white. Can you see it's red and white? That's perfect. All right, I'm going to give you another notch of flaps. Push it forward.
Cleveland traffic, don't say 14 is all inbound, 7 mile final for 36, Cleveland.
All right, bring her right down to the runway. Ease it back. Ease it back. And hold it right there. Let that airspeed bleed. Ease it back.
Air track 97 Delta's turning final 36 on the go, Cleveland.
And Cleveland traffic 48 November is clear of the active going to the ramp. All right, so strobes off, cow flaps open, verify flaps.
Flaps verified.
Awesome. Well, Rachel, welcome to Cleveland, Mississippi, home of Delta State University and the Fighting Okra. We're here. We're going to meet up with Rebecca Parker and let her
Cleveland traffic, Delta State 04 departing.
continue to fan the flames of aviation that we've gotten smoldering, if not lit on fire, with this flight. So anything you want to tell the fellow aviators before we check out of here?
This is so cool!
Well, you can't get a better affirmation than that, folks. So we appreciate y'all coming along. It's been a lot of fun to expose Rachel to this, let her get her first taste of general aviation. Hopefully she'll stick with it and go on to either make a career out of it or maybe just have her own plane to fly around in. Appreciate you coming along and look forward to seeing y'all on the next one.